Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 2 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Pitt County where the suspect in the triple homicide is still in a state mental hospital. David Lever was not at this morning's status hearing, which took place at the Pitt County Jail. The 55-year-old Pitt County man is accused of the January 10th murders of Eric Reyes, who was found shot in the driveway of his Forest Acres Drive home, as well as Anthony and Paula Gribble. The Gribbles were killed at their Peace Court home shortly after Reyes was gunned down, according to deputies. Now, autopsies released this summer said all three victims were shot multiple times. Court documents say Lever admitted shooting the Gribbles to their son, who held the man at gunpoint until deputies arrived. An attorney for Lever told WITN they are still waiting to see if the man is fit to stand trial. During the last hearing in October, prosecutors told the judge they had planned to seek the death penalty against Lever. The next hearing for the triple murder suspect has been set for March 6th. While there have been people placed on death row, North Carolina hasn't put anyone to death since 2006 due to legal challenges. Now we want to turn to news out of Raleigh, where we have recorded, unfortunately, another flu death in the state. Now, this brings the total up to 6 for the year. The Department of Health and Human Services says the number of flu deaths this flu season again is now at 6. The first death, was reported during the week ending October 4th, followed by 2 deaths the week ending October 18th. And 1 death each during the weeks ending October 25th, November 2nd, and November 22nd. 2 of those who died were between 50 and 64 years old, and 4 were 65 years old and older. Now, the DHHS is urging everyone 6 months and older to get the flu and COVID-19 vaccines. Adults 60 and older, along with pregnant women, are encouraged to talk to their providers about RSV vaccination options. Last season, 544 people died from the flu, the highest number since 2009. And now we want to turn our attention to Washington, where the Supreme Court heard a street preacher's case on Wednesday that claims one city's law is violating his religious speech rights. WITN Washington correspondent Stetson Miller standing by with more.
Highest court on Wednesday, a street preacher's legal team argued that he should be able to challenge a local city law even after being convicted. They claim his case is about religious speech rights, but the city says it's not about that at all. At the center of arguments on Wednesday before the nation's highest court was this man, Gabriel Olivier, an evangelist and street preacher. He got here after being arrested for demonstrating outside an amphitheater in Brandon, Mississippi.
He goes to public spaces and he tries to preach his gospel, preach his message. There was a conflict over where was he allowed to do that.
Olivier was arrested after breaking a city ordinance that restricted where he could protest. The law was created after the city said him and his group shouted insults and caused disturbances outside the amphitheater. Olivier then sued, claiming the law violates his First Amendment rights to share his faith. But the question before the Supreme Court isn't about free speech and is instead about existing precedent that bars people convicted of crimes from filing lawsuits to challenge laws.
The court should confirm that the federal courthouse doors remain open to persons like Olivier, whose rights have already been infringed.
The city's lawyer argues a ruling against it could undermine prior convictions and said Olivier currently has other ways to challenge the law.
Although petitioner claims in this case that the courthouse doors are closed, that argument ignores the countless doors petitioner chose not to enter. What this case is about is petitioner's preferred door.
Justices on both sides of the ideological spectrum seem to struggle with the question of blocking a person from challenging potential unconstitutional laws.
What you're basically saying is simply because they've been previously convicted, they cannot seek prospective relief 20 years from now, unless they get an expungement.
Doesn't it seem a stretch of the underlying reasoning, the rationale of Heck to say, no, you can't ever do that. You're forever barred from engaging in what you think is protected First Amendment activity.
In Washington, I'm Stetson Miller.
Well, thank you very much, Stetson, for that report. We now want to turn to your weather forecast. Today is the transition day from the sunshine we had yesterday to what will be a wet and rainy day coming up tomorrow. We will start to see some of those raindrops get squeezed out of the clouds as we head towards 5, 6, and 7 p.m. tonight. Going to be very light raindrops initially, but coming up for tomorrow, we could certainly see some heavier stuff start to come down. Here's kind of a look at what we're watching across the southeastern United States. Right now, a bulk of the rain currently across Georgia and moving into South Carolina. South Carolina slowly starting to turn green. That will be us coming up later on tonight, more so into tomorrow. However, everybody's going to wake up to rain as we head into your Friday morning. Let's take a look at how it all plays out. Again, light showers coming up this evening. 5, 6, 7 p.m. We'll start to see those light drops stretch across the east, and that activity will only increase as we make our way towards sunrise on Friday. Now, we had been talking about the potential for maybe seeing a few snowflakes mixed in with the rain. That is a possibility, but we're really not looking at any sort of actual snowflakes coming down and sticking to the ground. Air temperature is going to be just too warm across eastern North Carolina for that to happen. Areas up to our north in Virginia could certainly see, again, some snowflakes out of this system. For us, our air temperatures, again, are going to be at or slightly above freezing, and that kind of undoes that potential for some snowflakes. Right now, speaking of air temperatures, most of us in the upper 40s to low 50s. It is again a cooler than average day. Coming up for tomorrow, we again are going to be cooler than average. Seeing more of a northwesterly wind at around 4 to 8 miles an hour out of the northwest right now is certainly keeping air temperatures capped. Zooming the picture out a little bit further, you can tell we've got an area of low pressure that's going to be rolling its way closer to the east, and it's going to gather up all that moisture across the Gulf Coast states and send it into the east as we make our way through tomorrow. Now, a secondary system will be trailing that one, and that keeps the rain in the forecast over the upcoming weekend, particularly for those of you watching south of Highway 264. That's where I think we'll have a better opportunity for extended rain as we head through both Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday. Now, the rain exits on Monday. After that, we turn dry and sunny. 42 degrees coming up on Monday is going to be quite the departure from where we'll be on Sunday, dropping 10 degrees there over a 24-hour period. But your overnight lows will also be down in the mid-20s Monday night into Tuesday morning. So get ready for a bit of a chill. It is on the way. And again, it could come with a bite if we see those breezy winds take over on Tuesday. But for now, again, snow threat not really in the cards as we make our way through the next 24 hours, or really the next 8 days for that matter. Well, that's all we have time for today's 2 p.m. News and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you back here coming up at 3.